Hey folks, so this is now Valentine's Day. It's February 14th. We're making a Metheglin, which is basically a mead with spices in it. So the way I'm going to start this is I'm going to use just the turmeric and the juice with lemongrass and primary, and then when I start secondary fermentation I'm going to add ginger. Okay, so here is the Tropicana tangerine lemonade. Again, it's no artificial sweeteners, no artificial flavors. It has been pasteurized, but there's no sorbates or other chemicals in there. Over here I have turmeric root. I just pulled these from my freezer. I have roughly, I believe 64 grams. And I will take a knife and I'll kind of slice these into little pieces just to increase the surface area. Okay, next up I'm going to mix the honey in with the juice. I use this wide mouth 1 gallon jar. That way I can just put a lid on it, shake it up really good, and then I'm just going to take a gravity reading. So I'm not going to show you the mixing part. You've seen me do that before. I got a nice 107 degree water, and I'm going to go ahead and use a whole packet of 71B 1122. So I'll just pitch this whole packet of yeast right into this water and then wait 10 or 15 minutes. And here's something new I'm going to try. Remember science class? So I got some old litmus paper, and we're going to check the acidity. Again, here's the color code chart, and I'm just curious. I just want to see what the acidity level is. So it looks around somewhere of a pH 5, which is about right. So I'm just going to wait for this yeast to finish hydrating, and then we're going to get the brew bag ready. Okay, so we're right at about a 1.102. I did add another 12 ounces of honey when I pitched the yeast. Again, we were at 1.102, and now we're up to 1.110. I'm using a 1 gallon paint strainer bag. I'm going to dip this in some Star San sanitizer. Okay, while that's soaking, let me tell you another ingredient. This is lemon drop hop pellets. You may heard of hops from beer. This should add a really nice flavor. I'm looking for, again, it says right on the package, a lemony citrus aroma with fruity and herbal notes. I don't know how much of these I'm going to add. This is only a 1 ounce package, so I'm probably going to add a really small amount. Again, I've never used hops before in a mead. Okay folks, so we have our sanitized 1 gallon paint strainer bag. The first thing I'm going to add is some weights, and I'm just going to put these in the bag. This will help weigh it down. Next, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the turmeric in here. So again, this is 65 grams of turmeric. This is turmeric I grew in my own garden that I sliced up. I had it frozen. And then we're going to go ahead and add the lemongrass. 2.5 ounce package, and we're going to add about half of it. This bag weighs 82 grams. So the rest of this package we'll put in secondary after I siphon. And that'll help accentuate hopefully the lemony flavor. Next is for the mystery, the hops. These hops smell something. Whew. I know you really can't see that well in there. Okay, we'll do 5 grams. Okay, so there's still plenty of room in here for expansion, but now all of this stuff won't go floating around. Trying to plan ahead is a good idea, so that way you can make the whole process easier. But now let's go ahead and drop this in the mead, and we'll be good. Oh, let me also mention that I am going to use yeast nutrient, or 1 teaspoon per gallon. So I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of yeast nutrient, and then maybe on day 3 or day 4 I'm going to add a teaspoon of yeast energizer, just because I want to ensure the yeast has full effect and tries to ferment out as much as it can. 71B has an alcohol tolerance of 14%. The gravity reading 1.110. This is almost 15 and a half, about almost 16%, 15.8%. Alcohol by volume. Should stop around 14%. That's when the yeast won't tolerate any more alcohol. So for me to ensure it reaches that alcohol level, I want to give it as much nutrient as I can. This is not needed, obviously, but I'm going to use it just because I want this to turn out as best as possible. And I'll just mix that in before we drop the boil bag. Okay folks, so we have our boil bag here. Again, 1 gallon paint strainer. We kind of have it tied off. We got lemongrass, we got turmeric in there, and we got some lemon drop hop pellets. Let's go ahead and just drop it down. Hopefully it'll sink. Of course not. So of course it's going to float here, but once it gets saturated, and this is normal, I'm sure it'll always float in the beginning stages, but at least we'll go ahead and submerge it, let it get fully incorporated into the mead. So I guess the weights I added weren't enough. Once that lemongrass in there totally hydrates, it should sink. Just play around with this for a little bit, and stay tuned for my updates. I'll bring you along. We'll see how my first Metheglin turns out, and don't forget we're going to add ginger to this later on. I may even add some lemon zest just to help accentuate that lemony flavor. This is really delicious right now.